it's like people just kind of ran with that because it was something I was doing. You know what I'm saying?
We gonna run through this. I know
Okay.
you just gave me this whole speech. Let me know when you're ready. It's your girl, Miss Shadi, for the Artist Interview Space. Giddy!
Fight for their dreams. Just a young man tasting shit, so the family can live rich. Been dreaming too long to quit.
I lost sleep chasing these dreams, and I promise I ain't letting up. Yeah, I hear them niggas and them bitches talking, but it sound like etc. Got me feeling like PK. They counted me out, so I counted up. A1 says in a verse, say less, the price going.
Yo, it's your girl, Miss Shadi, and this is the Artist Interview Space. Today, we have a special guest. This is Season 2, Episode 2. And today, on this episode, we have none other than businessman, entrepreneur, I can go on and on, Clint. What's going on? Now, we gonna get right into it.
Okay.
You a man of many hats. So we gonna start off first with, how did you get into making jewelry?
So the jewelry thing came because I had been in the entertainment industry for like 15 years.
Okay.
And then, you know, once I got married and, you know, started having kids, I wanted to do something that I could still be home and still party with people without having to work for them anymore.
Okay.
So I was trying to think of all the different things that made sense. So I'm thinking like, you know, I'm into sneakers, I'm into, you know, cars, I'm into all these different things, but I didn't want to own a shoe store. I didn't want to be a car salesman. I'm like, what can I do that I could still relate to the entertainment industry without having to work for them anymore? And I said, you know, I think jewelry can work because I know a lot. I've watched them spend a lot of money on jewelry. So I'm like, all right, well, you know, let me try to focus on that. So I started off just making like these beaded bracelets. They was called Shambhala bracelets.
Okay.
So I was making them and, you know, I did like 100K in one summer. So I was like, you know what? I like it. Then I had a personal piece that I used to wear and people would be like, did you make that? And I'm like, yeah, but I didn't. You know, so I started studying the craft and, you know, meeting with, you know, people that had jewelry stores and people that worked behind the scenes, people that did design. And I started hiring them at first. And then I took all the money that I had saved up from entertainment and, invested it all into jewelry. And then, you know, the first pieces that I made, I was like sending pieces to Rick Ross, people that I had relationships with, sending pieces to just different people to see if, you know, if they were promoted for me. And, you know, Ross took pictures, he wore my stuff in the Source magazine. And, you know, after that, people, you know, in Chicago were like, hey, this is dude named Clint that makes jewelry. And everybody started calling me Clint the Jeweler. I didn't come up with that name, everybody else did. And I never liked that name because I had so many other things I have my hands in.
Okay.
And when, you know, people get introduced as one thing, that's what people are looking at you as from that point forward. And I'm like, God, don't look at me as that, you know? So I switched it to my boy Jerry one day. We were in Vegas and he was like, yo, you should do It's Made by Clint. And I'm like, all right, cool, because that could relate to everything I have my hands in. You know, if I'm producing things, then it's made by Clint, you know.
Now, you said you was in the entertainment business before making jewelry.
Yeah.
Were you like A&R?
No, so I started off originally like my senior year in high school, like 99. I was part of a crew that did parties.
Okay.
And then we used to, you know, pay for artists to come in town and, you know, we would do small shows here and there. And then we did something at NBA All-Star Weekend. And when I did the NBA All-Star Weekend event in DC, everybody came to the party, all types of rappers, everybody were there, basketball players. And I got offered a job that I didn't take right away. And then later on, my people at Sony and my people at Universal started offering me like promo jobs. So originally I started off with like a street team doing promo.
Okay.
So I was in charge of 2 different street teams. So, you know, putting up posters around the city, going to the radio station before the artists get there to make sure that, you know, everything was set up for them. And then I had started working with Rockefeller in 03. Started working with just different artists because although I was working with Rockefeller, I wasn't exclusive. I could still like, you know,
Okay.
do different stuff with different labels. So went on a couple of tours, you know, met execs from Reebok, met execs from Nike, and, you know, just traveling a lot, and, you know, it landed me in different positions to continue to grow.
Fight for their dreams. Just a young man tasting shit so the family can live rich. Been dreaming too long to quit.
I lost sleep chasing these dreams, and I promise I ain't letting up. Yeah, I hear them niggas and them bitches talking, but it sound like etc. Got me feeling like PK. They counted me out, so I counted up. A1 says in a verse, say less, the price going.
Now, I done seen your IG stories with your collections. When I say Clint has a vast collection of sportswear, the Pee Wee Herman dolls, albums, especially I want to talk about that Michael Jackson one.
Okay.
And it's like you into coins and stuff.
Yeah, I'm in everything, yeah.
When did you start like just collecting
When I was
items
8.
like that? Okay.
So I had an uncle, my Uncle Wilson. He was always big into the sports world, and you know he would take me to trade shows with him. So when I was 8, 9 years old, he'd take me to trade shows. They got Hulk Hogan there signing autographs, Scottie Pippen, Sammy Sosa, all types of people. So I'm like, you know, I'm going to these shows with, you know, 8 years old with $30, you know, and I'm seeing stuff that cost $30,000 at the time, you know. So I'm like, whoa, you know, I want that one day. So it got to the point where I was going with him every year for years, and we still go together. And then after a while, like, I would go by myself and he would go by himself, and we would still communicate. And then, like, once I got older and I would travel more, I started hitting up estate sales in different cities, started going to thrift stores, you know, just whatever I could do. But by the time I was 15, I had over $1 million collection.
Wow.
You know, just from acquiring so many different things, you know, from autographed jerseys to, you know, limited edition albums. I own any album you can think of that's considered the best movie of all time. I own all those soundtracks. But the original vinyl from these things, the original Star Wars vinyl, the original Mary Poppins vinyl, things like that. You know, so as I got older, I kind of like, you know, some people kind of focus on a certain lane, but with me, I've always wanted to, like, you know, I didn't want to just be known for having basketball cards or having autographs. I wanted to, like, really be a collector. So it's coins, it's art, it's, you know, vintage telephones, it's anything you could think of. I'm pretty sure I got it.
Okay. Now that Michael Jackson album, how did you come across that one?
Which one? The Thriller with the that I put the thing up last.
Yes.
Alright, so when Thriller dropped, the label made a mistake, and they put out, you know, a certain amount of albums that didn't have Michael Jackson getting credit on the albums. It was only Quincy Jones and Joe Jackson.
Oh wow.
It had Joe Jackson management, and it had Quincy Jones as producer. Then Michael Jackson went to the label and talked his shit, and they were like, alright, and they put out a new run, which ended up being the other 100 million albums Thriller ended up selling, and all of those had his name as co-producer.
Okay.
Yeah, so you got the tapes and you got the albums and the 8 tracks that didn't have, you know, Michael Jackson getting credit, and that's a big deal.
That is definitely a
Yeah.
big. You and your wife have a beauty line.
Yeah, Brown Story.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Black owned.
yeah.
Y'all have been doing phenomenal.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. When did you all know that that's something that you all wanted to do?
Okay, so my wife, she's been in the cosmetology industry as a hairstylist since 2002.
Okay.
So, you know, she's always said, like, you know, I don't know how long I can continue to be behind the chair. You know, so during the pandemic, when we all got a break, we got a chance to really focus on what's next, or if there's gonna be a next. You know, she came to me and she was like, hey, look, I got this idea, and we were bouncing ideas off of each other for like probably 3 to 6 months, just bouncing ideas. And then finally, she said, I think I want to do a skincare line.
Okay.
And, you know, of course I support her 100%. Originally, I wasn't a partner. She had another partner. They went their separate ways before the company even launched. And then, you know, once she, you know, decided to really go hard with it, she hit me one day and was like, okay, I got it figured out. It's gonna cost about $10,000 to launch it. So I'm like, okay, that's all you need? She was like, yeah. I gave it $10,000 to launch the company. Then it turned out to, okay, well, we gotta meet with this lab, and we gotta do this, and we gotta get things tested, and this and that. Another 20,000, 10,000, 5,000, 17,000, 30,000. And it just got to the point where it was like, whoa, like, is this something that we really want to do? We know, well, I didn't know, but she knows the beauty industry. But skincare and hair are two different things. You know what I'm saying? So it took a lot of work. And finally, you know, after a year of, you know, hiring a full staff, having our own lab, creating our own font, you know what I'm saying, to make sure that no one else is doing what we're doing, it finally worked out. And right away, you know, she was on, you know, Tamron Hall, ABC. She's been all over the place with it. So, you know, they use it on the set of Power, the set of The Shy. They use it all over the country on different movie sets. So it's moving. We're not there yet where we want to be, but it's growing. Yeah.
Y'all tap in with Bronze Glory.
Thank you.
Like, for sure, for sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Music. When I first met you, it was at House of Blues.
Yeah.
And that's how I stayed tapped in with you. When I
Yeah.
say Clint is a genuine, pure-hearted soul, he is. If he see you working and you need advice, and you tap in with him, he gonna get you right.
Yeah.
But you gotta put that work in.
You gotta put the work in.
Now, music, I done seen you deal with different artists coming from Chicago.
Yeah.
And also your son, Lil Tupac.
Tupac, yeah.
Shout out to you. I see you. What all is it besides the management of artists and I know actors and everything? You do consultations. What else is it with the music?
So with the music, you know, the management side of it is so different now. You know, when I was first coming up, like I said, I started off just doing promo for labels. And then that turned into assistant tour manager, and then it turned into manager. And the weird thing about it is, back then it was so hard to like really get an artist and get them to agree with your lifestyle or agree with your way of handling business. It was hard. Like I for real, you know, this go back to before everybody had cell phones. So it's been times where I was on a payphone or a landline waiting to hear back from Do or Die. And waiting to hear back from whoever, you know, at the time. And right now, you know, all you do is press a button and you got access to, you know, everybody from P from QC to Jay-Z. You can be noticed. It's a lot easier. So, you know, coming up, the artists that I managed over the years or did any type of work with, whether it's consultations or just, you know, assisting them, whatever they need. It's been a journey, man, and now it's easier for people. And at times I'm a bit envious. I'll be looking at like certain situations and I'm like, how the hell did you land this artist? I've been knowing this artist forever.
Right.
I've worked with them at some capacity, but I didn't have that same artist that you have. You have an artist that's more, I feel like a lot of these artists, I helped build them to get to a certain point. I you know, I consulted them on, you know, what to do right and what you're doing wrong. And, you know, after a while, you know, I had so many people I was doing that for. And the attention, because my mind wasn't totally on music, so the attention span of, you know, that I had was like very minimal. So a lot of artists that I worked with in the past, they went on to work with other people, and now they platinum selling recording artists. Still have relationships with them, but I'm not necessarily involved.
Okay.
You know, so it's been a strange journey musically, because it's so hard. It's, you know, it's like basketball. You know, everybody want to get to the NBA, but not everybody make it. You know, when you got people that go overseas, you got people that are just strictly playground legends, you got people that are hometown heroes, you got people that make it to the league. It's the same thing with music. You know, you got people that remain local, but yet still do their thing, and you got people that end up on the stage at the Grammys with their artists. You know, so
yes.
I respect them all.
You involved with the big three?
Yeah. So originally, Tony Draper and Ice Cube, they had me doing the halftime shows.
Okay.
So I was providing the entertainment for the halftime show. So different cities, you know. So for let's say Chicago, hometown, for example, 2023 was the 50 years of hip hop celebration. So I did Do or Die, I did Twister, I did Crucial Conflict, I did Shauna. Originally, I was supposed to have Chance on there as well. He reneged last minute. Herbo had an engagement with, I want to say, like BET. We're doing something. It was something going on in Atlanta or LA, so he couldn't make it, but he had agreed to it. And then I did so well with the halftime shows and built some great relationships. So my boy Tommy, that co-owned a team in the Big Three called Three's Company, who actually made it to the finals this year. Me and him, over the last couple of years, had, you know, developed a great relationship, and then he brought me on to partner with him, you know, with the team. So, you know, I got my hands at it, you know, involved in a different capacity now. Yeah.
When you're not busy, what does Clint do in his free time?
I do a few things. Go to the gun range. My main thing, number one thing I do is I go on a hunt for collectibles.
Okay.
You know, I try to do that. If I get a free hour out the day, you know, I'll see if it's an estate sale close by to wherever I'm at, or I'll hit up some thrift stores, or I'll go to some storage units and buy some storage units, and then when I get time, I'll go see what they got in them.
Okay.
Record shopping, sleep, you know, things like that. So, yeah, that's mainly what I like to do, man. You know, just catch up on some phone calls, people that I haven't talked to in a while, you know, things like that.
The folks out there want to get in contact with you. What is the best way to contact you?
Instagram. I'm heavy on Instagram. Like, you know, I'm spending hours a day checking back and forth on Instagram. You know, yeah, Instagram. It's made by Clint. That's the best way to reach me. I respond to everybody. You know, as long as it's nothing negative, I keep it moving. As long as you're not trying to solicit and sell me no fake stuff. And, you know, I'm cool. We can talk.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now, any advice you have for anyone that wants to get into music, owning their own business? What is the best piece of advice you can give?
Just be your authentic self. A lot of times people get discouraged because of the level of competition, but the way I look at everything in life is there's no competition. The competition got to be with yourself. You got to challenge yourself to do better. You got to, you know, tell yourself that you're great. You got to tell yourself when you're not doing the right things. You got to recognize when you're doing the wrong things. But just like I tell my son, you know, I didn't even know that he was into music. You know, he always just been into fashion, wanting to dress fly and all of that. And when he had moved to Atlanta for school, he goes to Morehouse. He was like, all of a sudden his roommate and him were like making music together.
Okay.
His roommate had a studio in his room. And then, you know, because of my connections, you know, I started plugging him with, you know, record execs, DJs, video directors. And now he's taking off.
Yeah.
Like, he's going crazy in Atlanta. So I'm proud of him. He was gonna come with me today. He's in Chicago today for our grandparents' anniversary. So Yeah, but he didn't make it. He was out all night partying last night. So he was tired. Yeah, but I would just say, you know, just be yourself. Don't let anybody, you know, deter you from the path that you're on, and it'll work out. You just gotta stay positive and you know, keep the bullshitters away from you.
Yes.
You know, that's the main thing. It's hard to spot them sometimes, but you know, eventually they show.
That's true.
Yeah.
I want to say thank you.
Thank you.
For taking the time out your day.
I done got comfortable, man. Man, I done got comfortable. Let's order some food.
You heard it here. Thank you, Clint.
Thank you.
For taking the time out. You're welcome. I'm Miss Shadi, and this has been the Artist Interview Space. Yiddy!
Fight for their dreams. Just a young man tasting shit, so the family can live rich. Been dreaming too long to quit.
I lost sleep chasing these dreams, and I promise I ain't letting up. Yeah, I hear them niggas and them bitches talking, but it sound like etc. Got me feeling like PK. They counted me out, so I counted up. A1 says in a verse, say less, the price going